Okay, good afternoon. I decided to hold this consultation class because need to catch up because last week I was not able to connect with any of you given that uh, the internet connection in my neighborhood was lost for about 7 days. And a lot of the questions had to do with the research paper, and they're very similar. So I decided I might as well just hold this consultation class just to explain what would be the expectations insofar as the research paper is concerned. Okay, so if we look at the outline, okay, here, okay, so here's your research question. Okay, before going over chapter 1, I'd like to go straight to chapter 2, review of literature. Review of literature is the summary of the research that you've done. Okay? Now, when you do research, you choose a topic, okay? And there are certain things that you start reading, looking for, insofar as your topic is concerned. Now, for a research paper in economics, the themes can be summarized into three areas. There are three major areas that you would need to be doing research on. Okay, let's say you have a topic like poverty or environment and economic development and the like. Okay, first thing to look for would be policy issues. Okay, policy issues refer to data on the Philippines and other countries for the past 30 to 40 years. Okay, here you're supposed to show data in table form or in graphs, in charts. Okay, and the aim of the data is to show that this topic you chose, poverty, environment, and economic development, and the like, okay, that this topic of yours is actually a current social problem, a current economic problem, ongoing. Okay, current means it has been ongoing for the past 40 years or so. Okay, and that is why, since it is a social or economic problem, okay, there are certain policies, existing policies and proposed policies on how to deal with this. Okay, but the more important part in this research is not so much the policies themselves, but the presentation of the data to show that this topic that you chose is actually an ongoing social or economic problem. Okay. Now, the second thing that you should be looking for in your research would be theories. Okay. Theories of poverty. What are the things that might increase or decrease poverty rates and the like. Okay. Or theories on what the environment or certain environmental factors can do to the economy in the long run, such as environmental factors and their influence on, say, agricultural expansion or agricultural development. Also, say, theories of employment. Let's say our topic is employment. Okay. Now, a theory has the following characteristics. There's an author's name. Okay, that's why I rejected some of your proposals when you say that okay, something like we are going to use the human capital theory. There are very many human capital theories. Okay, So you'd have to cite a particular author or author's work. So it's the name of the author or authors in the year in which that particular theory was published. Okay. And here in theoretical issues, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for all the different theories that attempt an explanation with regards to your particular topic. Okay. Now, keep in mind that when you formulate a research question, your topic is the dependent variable. So if your topic is poverty, then it would be all right. Look at the theory that says higher average educational attainment decreases poverty rates because poverty is your main topic. Okay. But when your research question is poverty increases infant mortality rates, your topic is now infant mortality rates, not poverty. So keep that in mind. Okay. When you're trying to formulate your research question, your topic is the dependent variable, the one that is being increased or decreased. Okay. So that's what you look for in your theoretical issues. Now, so that's a characteristic of a theory. There's an author's name or names and the year in which that particular theory is published. And theories in economics usually have a mathematical model. Okay, so it shows you the structural equation, the equation, and the first order conditions. Okay, whether the increase in income has a positive effect on expenditures on education. Okay, where the increase in interest rate would have a negative effect on, say, investment. Right. Okay. So that would be theoretical issues. And now empirical issues will now refer to the data that are available insofar as your topic is concerned. Because when you're talking about a concept like poverty, then here you'll be looking for the data on poverty for you to realize that there are very many ways of measuring poverty, and therefore there are different types of data with regards to poverty. Here in these empirical issues, that's where you discuss them. Okay, so when you talk about poverty ratio, there's, say, the head count ratio. There is the data on uh, $2.15 a day in income level. Then you also have the Gini ratio, which measures relative poverty. Then there's self-rated poverty. Okay, all these different data as far as your topic is concerned. Okay. So these are the things that you're looking for when you're doing research. Okay, get the data and show that it is a problem for the past 40 years for the Philippines and other countries. And then to also discuss then what are government policies and proposed policies for dealing with this social or economic problem. Then what are the theories that try to explain the relationship of your topic to other things? Okay. So you go through reading three theories, and then finally, you now discuss what are the different data that measure the same thing that you're studying, same thing that you're looking for. Okay. Now, this research in the review of literature really is a summary of the research that you will be doing here. Okay. And it's important to do that so that you can then proceed to chapter 3, where you then focus your paper. Okay. You have a hypothesis and you have a theoretical framework. Okay. The theoretical framework is among all the theories that you've encountered in your research, which is that one theory that you decided to focus on, or at most two theories. Okay. And then from a conclusion of those theories, of the theory or the two theories that you've chosen, from a conclusion there, that's how you formulate your hypothesis. Okay. So, for example, your topic is on the environment, and actually, you're interested in agriculture, the environmental impacts on agriculture. So, you might focus on a theory that says that um, technical innovation increases agricultural productivity. But this time, the technical innovation would involve environment-friendly technologies, okay? Like the use of water-saving strains of rice, okay? And the minimal use of pesticides and fertilizers that use inorganic chemicals, for example. Yeah. So there's a theory of that sort, and you now focus on a conclusion, and that becomes your hypothesis. That becomes the focus of your paper. You use the theory to try and explain uh, if your hypothesis really uh, is borne out by the data here in the Philippines. Okay? And then when you now talk of methodology and data sources, that means what data will you be using to show if your independent variable increases or decreases your dependent variable. And this data would be for several years, 30 to 40 years. And ideally, data is on the Philippines and other countries for purposes of comparison. Okay. Then in chapter 4, therefore, you start working on your analysis. Okay. And when you talk of the appraisal of the theoretical framework, okay, the point here is to discuss if the theory or theories that you chose to focus on were able to explain your particular topic, and to what degree they were able to explain it, and to what degree they were not able to explain. I've had students who did not get a very high grade because when they do their analysis, they start putting in other theories. And then when I asked them, why did you do that? I said, your focus is on that particular theory. They said, because they wanted to have a complete explanation of their topic. I said, that's not the purpose of the research paper. The purpose is not for you to come out with a complete explanation of your topic, but rather the purpose of the research paper is for you to critically analyze the degree by which a particular theory or two theories were able to explain your topic. And that's the reason why in the appraisal, part of the things that you'll be discussing would be aspects that the theory does not cover. Okay, so right now, I am willing to entertain any questions, especially when it comes to your specific research papers. You can just unmute yourself and start talking. For those who will feel that they've already gotten their whatever worthwhile, you can leave. There's no need to say goodbye, okay? Since this is not a formal class, but more of a consultation class. Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, Miss Tiffany. Miss
Um,
Tiffany Uy.
how many theories should?
It's up to you.
Oh, okay.
I cannot say five or so. Research paper ito. The research paper is a function of how well you do your own research. Okay, it
Oh,
is
I
not
see.
it's not like say yung exam yung essay where I say these are the things to read and this is the question you answer it. Yeah. But here it's a research paper.
I see, sir. So right, if it just ranges from like one to how many, but we should stick to those
Oh,
theories.
definitely it cannot be just one. There has to
Okay.
be several, especially since whenever you read paper. Like for example, look at the textbooks to Darren Smith. Okay, at the end of every chapter, there's a list of several papers which have a lot of theories. That's why you can actually get through several theories. If you just have one, that is not a research paper.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
So is the minimum number of theories?
Wala nga eh.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. As long as it's not one.
Paano siya magiging review? Iisang theory lang yun. So there has to be several. And in fact, when you cite a particular theory, like Harris Todaro, like automatically Harris and Todaro will be citing several other theories, which you can also make mention of.
Oh, okay. Because the theories that our group cited so far is really from Harris and Todaro. Would that?
Yeah, that's it. You should be reading not just Harris and Todaro, but those theories that they also cite,
Oh, okay, okay.
so that you can have an understanding of what those papers say beyond what Harris and Todaro themselves have discussed.
Oh, I see.
Okay?
But once we pin down those theories, those are the theories that we should stick to when it comes to the analysis portion of.
From those theories, you choose one to focus on, one at most two. Okay? And in your analysis, you use this one or two theories.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Can I also ask, because I replied to the discussion board for the research group, because
Uh-huh.
you posted the question asking for what theories we obtained the research question. I just want to get updates now for your reply to that, sir. Okay.
So that's the reason why I held this. I said, when you have a research question, you cannot just say it out loud. The research question is based on a conclusion of a theory. That's why I asked, where did you get it from? In other words, you can only come up with an acceptable research question if you've already done some readings and have already discovered some theories. So that's the reason why I will not reply for the moment, but I let you uh, do your research to come out with your research question. And automatically from now on, I'll be asking from which theory did you get that research question?
Okay.
Okay.
So by when should we
As
wait?
soon as possible, because your paper is due by end of March. The sooner you're able to come out with your research question, the better for your work.
No, I think I'm asking for the your approval lang, sir,
Now,
of our research question because I replied to the discussion board. I replied to your question in the discussion board. I just wanna get your approval lang, sir.
well, it's not for me to approve because later on you might make
Okay.
modifications depending upon how your research goes. All that I mentioned there was that at least it's a research question where it says something increases something.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But
So,
I will not say that is the research. Hindi pwede kasi as you proceed in your research, you might discover that there needs to be some modification.
oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Sir, for our group, kasi our group,
Yes,
yeah,
Mr. Season.
yes, I'm Harvey, sir. For our group, kasi we focused on education in relation to poverty, and you suggested na we focus on the aspect of poverty, right? We started with Keynesian theory, but you suggested then we focus on human capital. I think it's
Because
more of
Keynesian theory is a macroeconomic theory. It is not a theory of economic development.
okay, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
the reason why
Apo.
our subject matter now is development economics. See,
Mm-hmm.
Keynesian theory actually is very short run. Okay, it
Apo.
really
Yeah.
doesn't talk much about uh, long-term change, which is the
Mm-hmm.
subject matter of development
Yes.
economics.
Yeah, in that regard, we just wanted to ask, like, which resources can we base, like, for example, like, besides the modules that we have, is the book like a primary resource for the
The book is
theory?
your starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you look at your topic is you want to study human capital investments
Mm-hmm.
decreases poverty. I think that's what you're
Yes.
aiming at. Therefore, you
Mm-hmm.
look at the chapters there that talk about poverty, and
Mm-hmm.
also the part that talks about education, health, human
Mm-hmm.
capital. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of those chapters, there are always list of readings.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's our starting point. Would you have any
Yes.
other resources that we can venture besides the book, or maybe some
Well,
suggested?
uh, I think I've given access to the Beadle to
Mm-hmm.
the readings, and the
Mm-hmm.
Beadle has already obtained
Mm-hmm.
the soft copy of the readings again, which you can browse through because
Mm-hmm.
there's some there that talk
Okay, sir.
about poverty and human capital and education and the like. Okay,
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
you're welcome.
Sir, this is a question not specifically for this, but rather for the group
Yeah, Mr.
discussion.
Abed. Yeah, what?
Kasi in the group discussion, sabi daw that uh, it should should the group, should each member of the group place down their input into that discussion, or do we discussion board, or do we submit one big discussion as a group?
It's up to you. If it's a discussion boards, okay. I think I should edit that before I tried to do discussion boards with the groups. But I made some modification. I think hindi ko pa nababago yung instruction in your case. So discussion boards, I'd prefer individuals kasi the things that you write there in the discussion board are meant to prepare you for the examination. And examination is not by group, it's by individuals.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay? Okay, my pleasure. For your examination, sasabihin ko na ngayon, it's a good thing that you raised it. Okay? Uh, you know that the review questions have been posted. Okay, so two of those will appear in the examination, which would be sometime end of March before the Holy Week vacation. Two of those questions will appear, and you're supposed to write essays. Okay, now you'll be graded by your ability to write a technical essay. A technical essay, okay, it's like your readings. Of course, you write down essay, write down as clearly, as coherently as you can, but you should be able to illustrate your arguments, your statements with tables of data, graphs, charts, mathematical models, and the like, just like what you read in your readings in this course. All right, which is why in this particular course, I've had cases before of very, very well written essays. Very clear, very coherent. The argument is so well presented and the like, but there were no tables of data, graphs, charts, illustrations, or mathematical models. Since it was very, very well written, it would get a high grade, but the highest grade it could get is just a C or a C plus because you should be able to show that you know how to write a technical paper. And technical papers always have tables of data, graphs, charts, mathematical models, and the like, which you in your groups will then also do in the research paper. Okay? Right. Okay. Any more?
Hello, sir. I just want to add another question about the research paper.
Mhm.
Our group just wants to get thoughts as of our initial research question. Now. our group kasi, we picked the topic of urbanization, and our initial research question is increases in wage in urban cities, increases rural-urban migration.
Okay.
And the theories that we based it on is mainly the Todaro migration model and its theory on rural-urban migration. Would that be a good starting point, sir?
Yes, because that's the main focus of the Harris Todaro model.
And we
I
also found there's a
think
Lewis. Sorry, I forgot the.
the Lewis model is not primarily about migration. It's primarily about the structure of an economy. Okay, which is why your choice of the Harris Todaro model is actually more appropriate.
And I believe there's two versions. There's one that's just the Todaro, and then there's the other one that's the Harris Todaro equilibrium. Would that
Which will be part of your review of literature, but then you'll have to choose which one to focus on for your chapter 3.
Oh, so we'll just choose one among the two.
Yes, that's your focus.
Oh, okay. So in the review for literature, we source from multiple theories.
Yun na nga, you summarize them.
We summarize. Okay.
And in fact, there are conflicting theories. Harris Todaro is one of them. Okay, there are theories as to what causes see, Harris Todaro just looks at the differential in the wages in the rural areas and the expected wage in the urban areas. But there are other theories that talk about, say, social capital, meaning to say they migrate because they already have friends who've migrated, so they can easily move. So that's another theory. It's part of the things that you'll be discussing in your review of literature.
I see. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay. Any more? So at least we'll have, I'd like to think that there's been a clarification on the basic procedure about your research paper, your group research paper and the like. Okay. Now I just checked right now the discussion board. Okay. Okay. So I'll be going over the replies that you gave here at the discussion board. I was not able to reply or even see these because nung isang araw na nagkaroon ng internet connection sa neighborhood namin. Okay, any more questions or comments? Okay. I'll be posting a copy of this recording. Well, if there are none, I guess I've already told you what I would expect for the exam and also about how to proceed with your research papers. And I suppose at this point, yeah, you better pursue doing your research, but you can always email me just to discuss the progress of your research paper. So if there are no more questions or comments as of the moment, well, okay. I suppose I'll call this a day. In our next synchronous class, it should be before the examination. Okay. Again, I'll be if you don't mind, I'll have a screenshot of everybody. So just get ready for that one. All right. So if there are no more questions or comments, no more. Okay, so I'll say good afternoon and good luck in your research and the work that you're doing here in our online class. Okay, so bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
My
Thank you, sir.
pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay, bye-bye. So I can end the meeting. Okay.